All right, so let's take a look at this time around. Let's use division to find those equivalent fractions. So start with a denominator of 9 for this one, and then let's create one that has a denominator of 3 for that one. And you know, with your questions and your assignments, you'll often get denominators that will work together on purpose because we just want to practice the skill of creating equivalent fractions. So you'll often find that your fact families are involved as well, your multiplication and division fact families. So let me color in a few here. 1, 2, 3. There's 3 out of 9. There's 6 out of 9, right? 6 equal parts out of 9 total. And then on the bottom, let's have, well, if I want to make it equal, I'm going to shade in 1 here. That's half of it, or half of what I need, and then here's the other one. So I have 2 out of 3. So again, you can, if you wanted to, you can drag one over the other. You can see that they line up perfectly. So 6/9 is equal to 2/3, and 2/3 is equal to 6/9. And if you wanted to use division, right? Remember, with division, it's kind of like, well, it is like multiplication in the sense that if you take a number, make sure I have a good, yeah, there you go. If I have a number like 3, wait, what happened? Oops. Like 3, and I divide it by 1, I get 3, right? So whatever you have on one side divided by 1, you get on the other. The number doesn't change. 7 divided by 1, still 7. You can use 29 and divide it by 1, and you still get 29. So we have to remember the idea of 1 or 1 whole, because whatever you start with on one side, divide it by 1 or 1 whole, you get that same number on the other side. But like we know with fractions, even though the fraction might look different, it's technically the same number. So I'm going to divide by a fraction that represents 1 whole, and my next fraction is going to equal 2/3. So how do I get from 6 to 2 and then from 9 to 3? Well, ask yourself, 6 divided by what number equals 2? Or 2 times what number will give you 6? Well, we know that's 3. So if you use 3 on top, you have to use 3 on the bottom because this has to equal 1 whole. Well, 3 out of 3 is exactly 1 or 1 whole. And remember, if you go back over here, whatever you start with on this side and you divide by 1 or 1 whole, you get the same number on the other side. Well, here I started with 6/9, divided by 3 over 3, which is the same thing as 1. I started with 6/9 and I ended up with 2/3. And like we saw over here, they're exactly the same. 6/9 is exactly the same thing as 2/3. They're equivalent. The only difference is their numerators and denominators are different, but they're the same amount, so they're equal or equivalent. Okay, so now let's do a little more difficult example. Let's use circles. Use a little, oops. Hold on one second. I forgot to get rid of these guys. Let's take the fraction bars out of the way, and then we'll bring back our circle. Let me start over here. Okay, so I'm gonna go with 15 equal parts for this one because it's hard for me to make a circle with 15 equal parts. So I'm very thankful for this website and this tool. And then I'll make one that has 3 equal parts, and it'll look like this. And so what I'll do is now I'll go and shade this one in. Let's pick let's color 10 of these, right? 10. So we'll start with 1. You can see the number increasing. There's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So then we want to make the one with 3 equal parts look the same. So we'll color in 1 of those and 2 of those. If I drag it over here, you can see that even though one of them has 15 equal parts and the other one has 3 equal parts, oops, they're the same fraction. Right? And you can do it the other way. You can take the one that's cut into 15 equal parts And you put it over that one, and it's the same. It completely overlaps. They're the same fraction. So how does that work mathematically? Well, it's the same idea, right? You start with your fraction, 10 over 15. You're going to divide by a number on the top and the bottom that's going to represent one whole. And your equivalent fraction is going to be waiting for you on the other side. So you ask yourself, 10 divided by what number gives you 2? Or 2 times what number gives you 10? And that's going to be 5. And so if you want to make that fraction one whole, you have to use 5 in the denominator. And so 15 divided by 5 is 3. So you started with this fraction on one side, and you got this fraction on the other, but really, just like we showed you right here, they're the same. Oop, I want to erase that. I was hoping I could drag it. I guess I have to take this away first, but they're the same, right? This one is the same as the other one. 10/15 is equivalent to 2/3. They're the same. Okay, so I hope that helps. Remember, anytime you want to make an equivalent fraction, you can always use multiplication. With division, you want to make sure your denominator is large enough that you can divide something on the top and the bottom. But if you're ever in a pinch, you could always take any fraction, multiply it by the same number on top and the bottom, and you'll get an equivalent fraction. No sweat. Okay, all right. I think I'll stop here. But if anyone has questions about equivalent fractions, please reach out. And please use this website. We're going to make this website available to everybody. So use this website to practice. Create your own fractions. You can make as many equal parts as you want, and you can color them in and compare them to find out, are they equal, or is one larger than the other? So, okay. Thank you, everybody. Hope this helps.